My name is Elise, age 30, and this is my story of betrayal by my husband and my best friend. My husband Reed, age 35, and I have been married for 5 years, and dated for 2 years before marriage. We deliberately waited until we were settled to have children. We own our own home, cars, and have well-paying jobs. I make a lot more money than Reed, and he does not like this too much, but enjoys the benefits. I had also inherited money from my grandparents. The total amount I have not told Reed. I have been saving the money for our future children. As Reed is a big spender, I just didn't tell him. I am a publisher at a well-known fashion magazine, and he sells homeowners insurance. At the time of my story, I was 7½ months pregnant with identical twins. When I stopped birth control, we got pregnant almost immediately. We were both very happy, or so I thought. My best friend since middle school, Stella, is not married and plays the field with many men. She likes to say she is not going to be tied down with one man. I loved Stella and trusted her, which was my mistake because I did not realize her true nature. I trusted my husband and would have never suspected anything, except I had updated the security cameras before our babies were born. I had started worrying about needing extra security as my pregnancy advanced. Since I own the building, we live in the penthouse, and I rent out the lower apartments. It was an easy update. Most of the cameras were old and didn't work anyway. Living in New York City, I felt the need for added security. Knowing my husband would object to me spending so much, I just hadn't told him yet. It's okay if he spends lots of money, but he complains if I do, even though it's my earnings I'm spending. After the cameras were installed, I pulled up the app on my phone to check them out. To my surprise, I saw Reed and Stella get off the elevator in our home together, holding hands. I watched them go into our bedroom, undressing, and watched as they had sex on my bed. Well, I didn't really watch, as it made me sick, but I did see what they intended to do when they moved into the living room, without clothes, and started on our couch. I shut it off immediately. I was heartbroken and furious but took a deep breath, as I did not want to upset my babies. And I was in my office. Normally, the first person I would call is Stella, but that was not an option. So, I phoned my attorney and asked for the name of the best divorce lawyer in town. After getting the name, Lucy Luckett, which I thought was the greatest name ever for a divorce lawyer, I called for an appointment. She could not see me until the next day, so I finished my workday as usual. Not that I got a lot done, and went home. I was still furious but determined to make them pay for their betrayal. No one was at home when I got there, and as I walked around my bedroom, I knew I could not sleep in that bed tonight. I phoned building maintenance and had the mattress, bedding, and the couch removed and thrown in the garbage. When I was asked about throwing it away, I just told them the thing smelled bad. Since I was pregnant, they just acted like it was a pregnant woman quirk. I went online and ordered a new king-size mattress, bedding, and couch to be delivered as soon as possible. It wasn't long before Reed came home. And guess who showed up with him? Of course, Miss Slut, Stella. Reed said, "Look who I found coming off the street. We can have dinner together." I said, "Go ahead and order something in tonight. I don't feel like puking or eating. I am having a little nausea today." When Reed tried to hug me, I leaned away saying, "Ups, no hugs." Still queasy. Stella looked around and said, "Where's your furniture?" I told them that I had maintenance haul it and the mattress out, because when I got home it smelled like a prostitute, with multiple STDs had been in here. The stench was terrible and almost rotten. I guess we must have had smog today that came through the windows or something. The look on Stella's face was priceless, and Reed looked kind of sick to his stomach. I loved it and kept on talking about the smell, until Stella said she couldn't stay for a meal and needed to leave. After she left, I told Reed I shouldn't have talked like that in front of Stella, since she has had so many sexual partners. I also mentioned that she had to be treated for an STD a couple of times in the last few years, even having to have a hysterectomy, which is the truth. After I told him this, he really did look sick. I had a snack of crackers, cheese, and milk and went to bed in the smallest guest room that only had a twin bed. When I told him goodnight, I didn't touch him as I felt nauseated. Reed had to sleep in the other guest room. The next day I met with, as I call her, Lucy the lucky divorce attorney. After I showed her what the security cameras recorded, she asked a few questions. She told me that New York is a non-communal state, and I will not have to share 50/50ths with Reed. He keeps what he makes and owns, and I keep mine. I hired her on the spot and asked her to proceed as I would like to be divorced before the birth of my children, or at least be in the process. She asks me if I am going to kick Reed out now, or wait until he is served notice. When I told her about throwing away the things they had sex on, where I slept last night, and how I explained throwing away the furniture, she laughed. She told me, "Good for you, just be careful since you are pregnant, and she will call me before she has him served."